I have been asked the question of why do we have an ego? And this is a super loaded question, and it comes with a really big answer, and not an answer that is easy to answer either, because I think that it really goes beyond our belief systems, and we have to be willing to challenge our belief systems if we actually want to transcend the ego, number one, and number two, reclaim our sovereignty. Personally, I believe that out of all the narratives that are on earth, the one that works for me is sovereignty, but really needing to dig deep to see, well, what does sovereignty really mean, and how does that play in with us having an ego? The way I see it and the way I understand it, and I know that there are other people who see it in a similar way as well, but the ego is a false implant which has been put into human beings to control them. Why? Well, that has got many loaded answers, and it's a loaded question as well as to why would anything want to control us. Well, because we are energy, and sometimes things feed off of that energy. And the ego implant is made for us to become fast asleep. Because when we're asleep, that means we are controllable. And in being controllable, we are not sovereign. We are not making choices for ourselves. We are making choices based on what we told we need to make choices on. There is no originality in that. And the more lifetimes you go through, the more the wool is pulled over your eyes, and the less understanding you have of what your true nature is, the more you're going to be stuck in the matrices that keep you bound to this earth, and the more your energy can be harvested and fed off, the more it strengthens all of those matrices, depending which ones you are very identified with. Because anything that you're identified with strengthens your ego inside yourself, and it's harder to overcome that part of your ego. You can't transcend things which you are very strongly identified to. I have come to know that we have to be willing to let go of everything we identify with, even down to our soul. And the reason why I say that is because the soul is not the essence of what you are. The soul is another separate thing that experiences itself, but it's not part of the whole. It's a thing, it's a personality, and it holds experiences and the Akashic records and all those kinds of things. It does do that, and it does exist in that way. But it is not the purest part of our nature. It's just another form of something that we identify with, which actually keeps us separate from the whole and from the truth. And that is the purpose of the ego. It's why we have an ego, to keep us completely separate from the truth. I love that saying, the truth will set you free, because it does. And the truth sometimes is super scary. But when you're willing to challenge yourself and challenge your beliefs and put down the things that you identify with so strongly, when you listen to stuff from a space of inside yourself and intuitive knowing that this is truth, that's when you really start leading yourself back to truth.